How do we use simple lighting techniques to elevate the colour of our portrait photography? Let's find out. Say hello to Mars. She's here. She's joining us today. Say hi to everyone. Mars is wearing an amazing dress. Look at the decoration on this dress. How would you describe this dress?
Princessy.
Princessy dress. It's a princessy pink and purple dress. We're working in those sort of tones of pinks, little flecks of pink in there, but mainly a sort of pastel-y purple dress. And that's the first thing I would look at when deciding on what colour combination to use with my portraiture. Working on the basis of the colour wheel, I like to work in complementary colours. I think it's a nice, simple, dynamic colour scheme to work with. And it's an easy one to get your head around, and it's an easy go-to one to then start experimenting with colour and maybe doing slightly different things. The complementary colour to purple, opposite on the colour wheel, is yellow. So we've dropped down the nearest thing that we have, which is this, we call it a sunflower backdrop. It's got sort of like this Van Gogh sort of cross between orange and yellow. This sort of deep yellow going in there gives us nice, rich colours. And when we're creating images to go online that we want to get attention on our social platforms, we want scroll stoppers. And having high contrasty colours is one really, really simple way to get people to stop their scroll. Having big, punchy colours is a good way to elevate not only your brand, but the brands of people that you're working with who are looking for attention online. That sounded dreadful. It doesn't make it sound like you want attention online, who are looking to get attention. That sounds even worse when I say get attention online, who are looking to be creative online. We're going to show you how we would approach the colour dynamic within a simple studio setup. The first thing we're going to do today is we're going to showcase here the main light that we're going to be using. And we're only going to be using two lights in this seminar today. This is the Elinchrom 3, a completely wireless Elinchrom unit, and I've attached it to my octabox, which is sort of like this round box in here. If we turn off the modelling light on the inside, we'll be able to bring you inside the light itself. It's got a flash tube in here, and it's got a modelling light in there as well, and it's got this second diffusion panel inside that just clips in really simply. So that means that the light, when it passes through from the flash tube, it has to go through this diffusion panel and through this second diffusion panel as well, which gives us a really soft and flattering light source. And soft and flattering light is something that I'm always trying to achieve in my studio for portraits, because believe it or not, people like to be flattered by their portraits, and soft, flattering light is one really good way to achieve that. And you can achieve that by getting yourself a softbox that gives you a good diffused light source. We're going to bring the light up and round from Mars here, 45 degrees round, 45 degrees up, and we've angled the light 45 degrees down, so that if we were to draw a line from the back of the flash unit here through the softbox, the line would be just above Mars's eye level there. The second control of light that I've got on this setup is my white polyboard reflector, and what this is doing is it's going to allow us to have a nice little bit of light bouncing back in from our main light over here. If we turn on our main light in terms of the modelling tube, we can see in terms of the modelling light, we can see where the light's falling on the face now, and this light coming out of this softbox here is going to bounce onto this board here. This white board is going to bounce the light back in, giving us a little bit of light bouncing back in to Mars here, flattering and diffusing the light even further, giving us a more even spread of light. We're going to take the first picture here on our Canon R6 with a 24-105 f4 lens, 160th of a second. f8, ISO 100. I always shoot in RAW, but I have a JPEG on the second card as a backup and for ease of processing if people want the images quickly. Mars is a professional. She's going to pose wonderfully. I'm going to try and take a full-length photo with this brilliant dress. Remember, the pinks and the purples in the dress working in complementary combination with the yellow in the backdrop. One big pose in here, 3, 2, 1, go. That's beautiful, perfect, very simple. And there's our first image there. Now we'll notice here that because the light is further away from the backdrop than it is to Mars, the spill of light is going to diffuse and weaken as it gets towards the back of the studio. That means the exposure on that background is going to be slightly less than the exposure on Mars. It means there's fall off there essentially. And secondly, there's also a shadow on the background where the light's here and we're creating a shadow with Mars, and that light is not hitting that backdrop, making it even muddier and darker. So essentially what I'm trying to say here is that background is a little bit more orange than I want it to be. It's a little bit deeper than I want it to be. I want that background to be a little bit brighter. And how can we achieve that simply? Well, one of the simplest ways we can achieve it is by moving Mars to the back of the backdrop. So we're going to shuffle her all the way to the back, perfect just there. And we're not going to change a thing. We're going to keep the light in the same place that it's in. We're going to keep that board in the same place it's in. And Mars is going to do exactly the same pose, and I'm going to take exactly the same photograph. 3, 2, 1, go. And what have we got there? Well, we've moved the shadow slightly, but ultimately the lighting on the backdrop's still the same, and the lighting on Mars is a little bit darker. That's because she's moved away from the light, and the light therefore is less powerful. Anytime that we move a model in studio, we need to move the light with the model. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to move my main light there so it's in the same position as where Mars was, and we're going to move our reflector board with her as well, so that everything now is in the same position. We're just closer to the backdrop than we were before, but everything is in the same position. That main light's in the same position as the first shot, the reflector's in the same position as the first shot. We've just moved that backdrop closer. Mars is going to do the same pose here, and we should have a nice bright backdrop to match. 3, 2, 1, beautiful. And there we have, look at the comparison there between these two photographs there. If we look at the comparison of the backdrop there, we've got a nice bright backdrop there in the one on the right, and a slightly darker one there on the one on the left. The most recent one we did is giving us more of that backdrop there. But what if we want that even brighter? Well, we want to increase the light falling on that backdrop even further. We want to increase the power of the light. If we increase the power of the light, we should make that yellow even brighter. So I'm going to get in here, and I'm just going to turn up the power of this light by a whole stop here. And we're just going to see what effect that has now on the portrait. Same pose again there for me. 3, 2, 1, go. Beautiful. And we certainly have a very powerful, very bright yellow backdrop, but we also have a very bright looking Mars. We've overexposed the skin. All of the highlights within the skin tones have been blown out. And even when I'm shooting raw, I don't have full control over the tonal range there because we're overexposing. So how can we match a bright backdrop with good consistent skin tones? So we're going to move the power of this light back down to where we were previously, and we're going to move it back to where we were previously as well. Mars is going to follow in here and stand where she was for the very first shot. So we know now, if we move the reflector board in as well, we're now exactly where we were when we started. And if we take this shot here, we're going to have that darker backdrop, but we're going to have a well-exposed model in the foreground. We need to lighten up that backdrop slightly, and we're going to do that this way. We're going to bring in this, which is a background light. Well, it's just a light. I'm just going to use it as a background light. Just remember, all these things are just different terminologies, but essentially this is an Elinchrom one. I'm going to lower the power so it's around about half the power of our main light here, and I'm going to place it on the backdrop, and I'm going to move my reflector board away here so that you can see where I'm going to place it. I'm going to place it to the side. I'm just going to angle it slightly so that it's aiming at that backdrop there, just behind Mars. We're going to bring our reflector board back in here, and we're going to cover the edge of that light there to reduce the spill, any potential spill that's coming out of that background light, but also to get that bounce back into Mars as we had in the first picture. And what we should have here is a well-exposed Mars, but also a brighter backdrop. 3, 2, 1, go. Beautiful. Now, if we've got a slight hot spot on the background there where that light is hitting. If we want to increase the spread of that light and make it go over a wider area, we can bring this light back a little further. I'm just going to change the angle on it slightly so it's going up and down, and I'm going to add 2 stops of power onto that light to make it even brighter. So it's come back a little bit, I've angled it up and down a little bit, but hopefully we should get a little bit more power just because we've increased the power slightly. 3, 2, 1, go. Beautiful. And there we go, a really bright backdrop there, something that's elevating even further. And what if I want to really control that light and have something that's just a little bit different? Well, we're going to change the modifier on this light. Remember, the bigger the modifier, the wider the spread. Therefore, the smaller the modifier, the less wide the spread. Brilliant, incredible. Therefore, two seconds. Therefore, the smaller the modifier, the less wide the spread. So we're going to put this small reflector cap on here. We're going to bring it back over here, and we're going to turn the modeling lamp on so we can see where it's falling. And we're just going to try and see how close we can get to the backdrop without putting it in shot. I'm going to bring the power on it back down to the first power setting it was on. And I'm going to try and get it to shoot just around about where the dress is so that we've got a nice vignette of light around the outside of the subject, but the area around the dress is nice and bright. This should be super bright. 3, 2, 1, beautiful. And there it is. Super, super, super bright with a nice vignette around the outside. If we want to be super clever about it, we can just bring that tripod behind Mars, because where we are there, we can't see that tripod. And with a little bit of clever photoshopping, we could just get rid of the tripod legs just around the bottom, which I'll do before I show you this image. But this should give us the most even vignette of light again. Same pose again, 3, turn your head so you're looking up towards the light. Beautiful. And there we have Mars coming out of almost an explosion of white and yellow and bright light from the middle out to a dark vignette round the outside. And that's how we can move from a very simple one light setup on a colourful background to really controlling the colour, controlling the tone, and controlling the brightness of our portraits using just 1 second light. Mars. You look amazing.
Thank you.
It's been fun. And I like the fact that your eyelashes match the dress.
Thank you.
Yeah, I tried to do mine the same today, but they wouldn't grow enough in time. Such a shame. Mars, how would you describe your experience with us in 3 words?
Are you going to pay me per word?
No, I'm just, it's the same flat rate.
Fun.
Fun.
Unique.
Unique.
Bright.
Bright. If you've seen any of our previous videos, they might sound familiar. Thanks very much for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, you can subscribe, you can like it, you can say nice things, leave a nice comment below, let us know what you need help on. We'll be able to provide videos for you every Monday on this channel, giving you guidance on how to use artificial strobe lighting. If you visit our website, nofussmust.com, you download your free posing guide. Give you 100 different poses completely for free. And you can also download one of our courses, our 1 light course, our 2 light course, and our 3 light course, so you can learn from the comfort of your own home how to simply and easily elevate your photography with simple and easy lighting techniques. Thanks very much for watching, and as ever, all the very best.